Okay, we're going to start talking about multiplication. And a couple things that I want to go over is addition and multiplication will both make an answer get larger. All right, but it's going to be important to know now there is some differences between addition and multiplication. And then what are the differences, right? Multiplication deals with equal groups of something. So we're going to explore what that means, okay, and what it doesn't mean. So if we look over here and we look at something like this, so Jen bought, 4 vanilla cupcakes and 2 chocolate cupcakes. How many cupcakes did she buy in all? Right? Well, she started with the 4 and then added on, right? So 4, 5, 6. This would be addition. Let me move this up here. This would be an addition case. Because remember what I just said, multiplication deals with equal groups. These two groups are not equal. This one has 4, this one has 2. She's getting more, right? She's not giving away or taking away or doing any of that. She is getting more, but not an equal amount. So there's 4 plus 2. So we would just add, and that answer would be 6. That's what addition is. You're adding on. Now, multiplication, we talked about equal groups. So I see groups here, right? These could be plates or just groups, or so we're going to say group. There's 1, 2, 3 groups. Let's check if they're equal. There's 2 in this group, there's 2 in this group, there's 2 in this group. All right, so how many equal groups are there? There's 3, right? Here's my groups. My circles are my groups. How many items are in each group? So there's 2, 2, 2. So there's 2 in each group. All right, so what would be the total? So before we even find out the total, what we could do here is we could do repeated addition. We could do 2 plus 2 more plus 2 more equals, and we can count by 2s, 2, 4, 6. But another faster, easier way, we could write 3 groups times 2 in each group equal 6. Okay? So these are both equations. And notice we get the same answer here. So repeated addition, now we couldn't do repeated addition here, right? It wasn't 4 plus 4. It was 4 plus 2, right? So here, we could do repeated addition, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. Or we could do multiplication, 3 groups with 2 in each group equals 6. Okay? So let's look at another one. So I just put this up here, equal groups. You could do repeated addition, and you could do multiplication. So I noticed right up front, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, right? And I have 1 in each group. So if I wanted to know how many pumpkins there were all together, right, I could say, well, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, right, equals 4 pumpkins. Or I could say I have 4 groups with 1 pumpkin in each group. How many pumpkins do I have in all? 4. Okay? So let's keep looking at some examples here. Groups, right? I have 3 groups. And how many, so I made up a little story here. In the dragon school, the dragons were split into 3 different classes. There were 3 dragons in each class. How many dragons were there in all? Okay? So we want to know the total, right? So there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. And actually there's 3 in each group. So there are equal groups. So if we were going to do repeated addition, our equation would look like 3 in group 1, another 3, plus another 3, right? And if we did that, we could count by 3s, right? 3, 6, 9. We could also go 3 plus 3 more. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that would give us 9 dragons. Or if I use the multiplication equation, I could say there's 3 groups and there's 3 dragons in each group. And 3 times 3 is 9. So whether you use repeated addition or multiplication, you should come up with the same answer. It's not going to give you a different answer. All right, let's look at another one. Okay, so there's a parking garage. Each parking garage holds 3 cars. All right, so again, the garage is the group, and there's 3 cars in each group. Right, so if I said, okay, repeated addition, it would be 3 in the first garage, plus 3 in the second garage, plus 3 in the last garage. Right? We just did this, so 3, 6, 9. Or our multiplication equation would be 3 groups, right, or 3 garages with 3 cars in each garage. What would be our total? And that is our multiplication equation. Okay? Now let's look at another example. Here's the garage again. So I have groups, right? I have my same garage. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 groups. Uh-oh, I noticed something here. There's 3 in this one. There's 1, there's 2. I can't do repeated addition. I don't have the same number in each group. So I can't do a multiplication equation. I can do just a regular addition equation. I can say 3 plus 1 car in the second garage plus 2 cars in the last garage, right? So that is an addition equation because there are groups, but they're not equal. They don't have the same amount in each group. Okay, so then we would just add that up. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. Okay, see the difference? These are equal groups. We are adding the same number repeatingly. Okay, here we are not adding the same number repeatingly. Okay, that's the difference. All right, right here we have, some bags of fishies looking like from the carnival. So the bags would be our groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, right? And I'm just gonna put that here. We have 5. There's 5 groups. And then I have 2 fishies in each group. So 2 in each group, right? So if I were to look at a repeated addition equation, I could say 2 plus 2 plus 2 more plus 2 more. So I have 2, 2, 2, 2, and I need 1 more 2. Okay? And so I could count by 2s, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? So skip counting has a lot to do with multiplication too. If I were going to write a multiplication equation, I could say 5 groups times 2 in each group, and then counting by 2s, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You come up with 10, you get the same answer. Okay. Let's look at our balloons. Okay, so this would be a group, this would be a group, this would be a group, this would be a group. So let's again put this over here. Okay. we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. Okay, the bundle of balloons is counting as the group. So 4 groups. And then how many balloons are in each group? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 5 in each. So 5 balloons in each group. Okay, so 4 groups, 5 balloons in each group. So we can do repeated addition because the number is going to repeat, right? It's going to be 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, right? 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. The same number is repeating, so it's called repeated addition. I'm sure you've heard of that. And then you could just count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. All right? If we were going to write a multiplication equation, I could write 5 times 4 equals, and again, we can put up 4 fingers and count by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. Same thing. Now, kind of like addition, let me just show you this over here. If I said 3 plus 2 equals 5, and you guys can all check that out, right? I can also say 2 plus 3 equals 5, right? In addition, the order doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter in multiplication either. So I could have written, let's get rid of those now. I could have written 4 items of 4 groups. Here it was 5 items. I think I said that wrong. So it'd be 5 items in 4 groups. So here I could say 4 groups with 5 items in each group. It would still equal 20. Okay. So the order in which you put it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Let's look over here. And again, I want to think about how many groups do we have before we write the equation, and do we have equal groups, right? So we have 4 groups, and do we have the same number in each group? Yep, right, so we have 2 in each group, right? So if I were going to write a repeated addition statement, I would have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, right? And again, we can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. If you weren't sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? I can write a multiplication equation. I can say there's 4 groups times 2 in each group equals, again, you count by 2s is 8. Or I could have said that there's 2 horses in each group times 4 groups, and that will also give you 8. Okay? All right? So let's look at this. Okay, I see I have 4 groups. Uh-oh. I'm noticing something quick. I don't have equal groups. These don't look equal to me, right? So I couldn't, my number here isn't gonna, if I write my sentence, I would have to write 2 plus 3 plus 1. And if I wanted to add that last group here, I could add plus 0 because there's no horses in that one, right? Repeated addition. It means the number repeats, right? Here, this 2 was repeating in each group. Here, it's not repeating. There's 2 here. There's a different number here. Nothing is repeating. So it's just a basic addition problem. And that's how you tell the difference when you start getting word problems and things like that. If they're not talking about equal groups and they're just saying, she bought 2 horses on Monday, she bought 3 horses on Tuesday, and a 1 horse, that's not multiplication because they're not equal groups. Okay, so groups and things in the groups is what multiplication is. And there's another way that we can discuss, and you'll see the other word that they sometimes use is an array. Okay, when we do equal groups, again, a lot of times it is like cages or how many like fish in the fish tank, and it's a quicker way of counting other than just adding. If you're putting books, how many books in the classroom, if how many kids on, if you're doing 3 buses and how many kids are on each bus, it's a quicker way to get the answer. But it's just an arrangement. It's how you're arranging the numbers because they're in equal groups. So you could put them in groups like baseball teams, soccer teams, equal groups of things. The other way you can arrange your items are in arrays, okay? So I think I skipped this over here. Array. The definition of an array is a set of number of objects in rows and columns, okay? So again, one way you can do it is to put them into groups, right? Put them into classrooms, put them into bags, put them into bookshelves. You're putting them into groups. And so, or you could do an array, which has rows and columns. Okay, so teachers do this too, rows and columns. A lot of things happen. So, has rows and columns. So, your rows run horizontally. So this way, rows. These are rows, and these are columns. Okay. So if I start by saying to you, how many rows are there? Well, how many green arrows? There's this 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. Okay, so there's 3 rows. And how many are in each row? Okay, so if I'm saying this is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 parts in each row. Okay, so what would be my multiplication equation? Right? We're doing our rows. 1, row 2, row 3. Right? Row 1, row 2, row 3. So our multiplication equation could be 3 times 4. If I said what's your repeated addition, you could do, still works. Right? You would just say, okay, 4 here, 4 plus another 4 plus another 4. See, we have our 3 groups of 4 here, right? So if you know you can count by threes, you could use, okay, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus another 4 is 12, right? Same thing, answer would be 12. Space right there, but we're going to just think that it's 12, okay? That's, did I give you, yep, okay. A couple more. All right, so a lot of times when people are planting gardens, you use rows, and columns. A lot of times classrooms have been rows and columns. All right, so let's start with rows. Again, oh, I could say how many columns, but I said how many rows. So we said how many rows? So 1, 2, 3. 3 rows. How many in each row, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 trees in each row. Same kind of problem like we just did. So our multiplication equation would be 3 times 4 equals, do we remember from the last one? Right? Or we could have said 4 plus 4 plus 4, and that also equals 12. Right? Alright, and then our last one that I want to show you. Again, okay, the teacher told the kids to get into equal lines, right? So these would be my columns, these would be my rows, right? I personally think it's easier to count rows, but some of you may say, oh, there's 2 columns and there's 3 in each one, but I'm just going with row right now. So I have 1, 2, 3 rows, right? How many do I have in each row? I have 2 kids in each row, right? So what would be my multiplication equation? 3 times 2, right? And you can count by 2s, 2, 4, 6. If I said repeated addition, I said 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 2 more, right? 2, 2, 4, 6. Okay. So pretty much done. You're going to go do some work in a moment. But I want you to remember the main difference between addition and multiplication is equal groups or equal rows, okay? If they're not equal, then it's just plain addition. And other than that, multiplication is seen either in groups with the same number in each group, or it could be looking like an array, okay? So you're going to try some on your own. And remember, these questions, you should be talking to yourself and, saying, okay, how many groups do I see? Oh, I see 5. There's 2 in each group. Okay. They're equal groups. Okay. So groups times number of things in the group. All right. All right. Good job. We're going to discuss in a moment together.